104.5 The Team, your home for New York sports. On the phone right now, Naira's own Andy Serling. Andy, I haven't had a chance to thank you for the winners that you've had recently because I've been out on Friday. So thank you for padding my bank account, sir.
I do whatever I can for people like yourself.
For those of us who can't wait for the Belmont, what's going on this weekend? Anything good to keep an eye on?
There's a lot of good stuff going on here. I'm sort of glancing through Saturday's card to find if I can find any obscure losers for you. But I like a horse in the sixth race a little bit, the 4 Lido. That's on Saturday's card, and it's good racing around here, and a lot of good stuff obviously coming up. The 7th race, I like the 5 Lucky Town. Now, isn't Lucky Town the kind of horse you should be betting on?
Absolutely.
And our feature on Saturday, by the way, the Pennine Ridge, there's a horse coming from California named Bowie's Hero. I'm not exactly sure where his last race came from, but if he runs back to the last race he ran at Santa Anita, this field's in a lot of trouble. He was very good, and he'll be about 4-1 in there, so maybe he's okay.
So some fun to be had.
No doubt, man. We're about 9 days away, or 8 days away now, and get my math better. The Belmont, the final leg of the Triple Crown. What is that field starting to shape up to look like?
It's looking like about a dozen horses right now. I know True Timber came out. Conquest Mo Money is going to run in the 7 furlongs Woody Stevens instead. But it's shaping up to be a good field of a dozen, maybe 13 horses. And, it's the Belmont itself is just a fun race, and it's a really interesting race because you're not going to see these horses run a mile and a half unless they're going to run into Brooklyn in the next year or two. And a lot of it depends on which horses are most efficient going long. And I think that's one of the reasons we've seen some upsets in the Belmonts, especially in recent years in general, is that it's a very specific distance, and distance is the great equalizer in racing. So it's not necessarily the best horse, but it's the best horse at a mile and a half. And I think it's a wide open race, and clearly Classic Empire is the horse to beat. And he ran too well to lose in the Preakness. Fortunately for us, he lost. But whether or not he wants to get a mile and a half, or whether or not he's going to come back and run another good race, this will be his 4th race in 8 weeks. Those are all real questions, and I think it makes the best horse in the race, in this case Classic Empire, very vulnerable.
There's a part of me that's a little conflicted here because I'd love to see the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness winners run in the Belmont, but it seems as if both teams are saying we are saving these guys for Saratoga. Are you surprised that Always Dreaming and Cloud Computing aren't running in the Belmont?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, the way Always Dreaming ran the Preakness, it's hard to see Todd Fletcher bring him back in another 3 weeks. And he's making the prudent and correct decision. Listen, his owners are New York guys through and through, so there's no question that they would want to run the horse. So they're looking after the best interest of the horse, and I'm not surprised at all with Cloud Computing. I mean, don't forget, they waited 6 weeks after the Wood Memorial. They didn't even run in the Derby. They could have run him in the Derby. And we're going to have a showdown of epic proportions in Saratoga. I mean, there's a real possibility that those two horses, both Always Dreaming and Cloud Computing, hook up in both the Jim Dandy and Travers. And I imagine Classic Empire could be up there as well. So we're going to see some great racing up there. And I just think it's a case of trainers doing what's best for their own horses. And I think that's the most important thing.
Naira's Andy Serling with us right now. So there's a chance that we could have, like, let's say Classic Empire wins the Belmont. We could literally have all 3 of the major winners going toe-to-toe in Toga.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably dating myself because it's probably happened since. But I know in 1983, right, there was a famous, was it 82 or, I mean, it was 82. It was 82, actually, when Conquistador Cielo, who had won the Belmont, ran against Aloma's Ruler, who had won the Preakness, and Gallo del Sol, who had won the Derby, and they all lost to Runaway Groom. So I don't know. There's probably been one since then, but that's the last one that I specifically remember when all 3 different Triple Crowners hooked up in the Travers. And there's a lot of good racing to come. And, Belmont Day isn't just about the Belmont Stakes. And there's 5 other Grade 1s in the card. There's 9 graded stakes total. It's going to be tremendous racing all day long. The weather is looking spectacular, mid-70s, no rain. And, I mean, there's a million reasons to come to Belmont Stakes besides hoping for a Triple Crown winner or talking about the Belmont Stakes, et cetera. There are tickets available. People can still come out. It's going to be a crowded and busy day, but not overly crowded, so you won't have a good time. Belmont's a facility that holds a lot of people, and it's going to be a great day here, whether you're looking to celebrate a potential Triple Crown winner or not. And that's one of the things that we've done, turned into a sort of a mid-year Breeders' Cup, and it's a day that shouldn't be missed.
Yeah, you can get those tickets, BelmontStakes.com. And, like, even if it is crowded, I found that, like, because, when we're up at Toga and it gets a little crowded for a couple of, like, the stakes races, that's where my Naira Bets comes in handy because I don't have to go wait in line.
Exactly. I mean, you bet with Naira Bets, and you bet on your phone, or you can bet easily on any of the devices around the track, but most of us just bet on our phone. And signing up for Naira Bets is incredibly easy. There's a $150 sign-up bonus right now, and you're supporting the industry by getting involved in Naira Bets, and I think that's an important thing to do. We are putting any money we make back into racing, and that's what racing needs. Racing needs to continue to support itself, and I think that's the importance of Naira Bets. And I think everybody should sign up for Naira Bets. I've been a member since, in whatever sort of version it was, going back to the early 90s.
That, plus you can also get ready for Father's Day. It's coming up June 18th. One of the best gifts you can get is Saratoga season passes. How do people do that?
Very easy to do. You can go to Naira.com and get the information, get it there. But also, Stewart shops all over upstate. You can get them there. $40 for grandstand, $65 for clubhouse is admission for the whole season, and it'll make it so you don't have to make that decision. Should I go up today? You're just going to go to Saratoga, and as you guys know, every day you miss in Saratoga is a missed opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. And then, like, if you've got the season pass, you can just go for a couple races, and that's what I do sometimes. I'll just go for a couple, then I'll pretend I was at the doctor's office and come into work late.
It's probably not really a big stretch for you to pretend you're at the doctor's office, right?
not the biggest.
They just sort of assume it at this point, right?
Yeah, come in with a penicillin wrapper, everybody's happy.
Maybe you'll come visit me and say hi at some point this summer.
Absolutely.
I know you guys are busy and stuff. But,
well, every time we walk by, you're on your stage, and you're in full Andy Serling breaking down the races.
I'm a very important man.
I just asked you, right?
right. Actually, I'm not that busy. I see you coming, and I pretend to be busy. I'm sure that's never happened to you before. I know it's never happened to me.
I usually notice it, so I'm like, you're at least well played on your part.
Right.
Andy, we appreciate you, and if it's cool, we'll bug you next week before the Belmont.
Look forward to it. I'll talk to you guys soon.